But let's thank Mitesh on that note. Mitesh, thanks a lot for joining us. Let's invite our next guest, Gautam Duggad, Head of Research at Motilal Oswal Financial Services, is joining us now. Gautam, good morning. Thanks for joining us. So it's been a remarkable year, right? We have seen perhaps the mother of all bull markets and mother of all bear markets both in same year. What's your view now from here on?
Hi Anuj, good morning and advance wishes for Happy New Year to entire team and your viewers. Yes, you rightly said it. This is a year which typically doesn't recur very easily. You've seen in March we were at the peak of our pessimism at 8,000 Nifty, and now we are talking about 14,000 as we close the year. What has changed, of course, is the supportive liquidity globally, and of course the low interest rates which have prevailed for such a long period of time in India as well. Corporates are borrowing at 3%. So that tells you that, come what may, the valuations do have a cushion of lower interest rates. What has been heartening is that the corporate earnings cycle seems to be changing now, right? We have seen September quarter 17% earnings growth, first quarter of earnings upgrade after many, many years. And things look pretty good even for December quarter. So, you cannot predict such things when the times are so volatile. But one can safely say that we are seeing a good run of earnings beginning now. And whenever you see a beginning of an earnings upturn, then of course markets are going to be little more forgiving on valuations because the confidence of an earnings cycle continuing for next couple of years remain quite strong. And that allows the market to keep climbing the wall of worry as they normally say. So I'm quite optimistic. Having said that, there are always periods where you cannot rule out corrections. Wherever there are excesses in some pockets here and there where earnings support is not there, at some point of time, the earnings will catch up with those valuations on either side. So that being said, there are many important things to watch out for 2021. Stock selection and sector selection, more importantly, is going to be extremely crucial to generate alpha in 2021 in our view. While the overall macro remains supportive, we are seeing upturn in economy now after the lockdowns have ended 6 months back. Vaccine news keeps coming every now and then. So backdrop is quite strong for 2021.
Okay. Gautam, pleasure listening to you. I mean, you put your finger on the two important things. Are we at the start of a big earnings growth cycle? And two, the alternate investment opportunity. I mean, 3% in terms of cost of money is so poor that, equity becomes a compelling buy. So can you just put some numbers on the table at the moment? Where are you all standing in terms of the Nifty EPS and valuations as of March 31, 2020, 21 and 22?
Sure, Lata. We are at 500 rupees thereabouts for FY21 Nifty EPS. We had seen a 9% EPS upgrade in the September quarter. And while we are still doing the numbers for December quarter, this 500 rupees threshold for FY21 stays as it is. For FY22, the expectations are quite strong. We are at 675 rupees of EPS for FY22. Now, whether that will get materialized or not remains to be seen. But at the moment, that is where we are. Strong upturn in earnings for FY22, led by almost all the big sectors, banking. You have IT, you have auto coming back into vogue after 3 years of complete decimation of earnings in the auto sector. So 675, if you assume for FY22, you're almost trading at 2021 times on Nifty. Now, one can debate whether these are valuations which are expensive or not, because the average of last 10 years is somewhere close to 17.5. But averages typically tend to deceive because averages do not factor in the global supportive macro liquidity and lower interest rate for such a long period of time. So I won't use 10-year average P. I will look at it sector by sector and stock by stock. And then depending on each stock's, bottom of perspective around earnings, one can take a call from a long-term perspective, whether this is a good time to buy those stocks.
Okay, well, don't lose sight of the market. All four indices are now in the red. The mid-cap index is down almost 150 points. The Sensex and the Nifty are also under a bit of pressure right now, down 0.2%. Gautam, morning. If you had to pick out one or two big themes of 2021, I know you generally go, bottom up, but if you had to look at some large sectoral themes, which ones would you bet on in the next year?
So, Sonia, I would bet on the continuation of the theme that we have been highlighting, which is the recovery in BFSI. This is the biggest sector, 38% of Nifty. and the biggest contributor to incremental earnings for FY21 as well as FY22. Please remember that in FY21, if we deliver 500 rupees of EPS, we are still getting a growth of 8-9% despite all the mayhem that we have seen in the last 12 months. So clearly, banking has been the significant contributor in FY21 incremental earnings with a delta contribution of almost two-thirds. Now, that is expected to continue to do well because all the large private sector banks and something like an SBI are sitting on a pretty high PCR. I do know that RBI has come out with a report and they've highlighted some asset quality related issues. But nowhere in the last 20-25 years of earnings have we seen an earnings upcycle starting with BFSI large banks PCR at somewhere between 75 to 85%. So I think banking will continue to surprise people in 2021. It has already given very strong returns in the last 6 months. The second thing which I remain perpetually bullish about in India, and I think 2021 will see a further glimpse of that, is a broad-based consumption. We have seen rural consumption driving 2020, and we have seen rural-oriented stock outperform significantly, be it in auto or consumer discretionary or staples. I think 2021, as economy recovers, the urban consumer will make a comeback. And therefore, some of the sectors which are dependent on urban consumption, like consumer discretionary, lifestyle, retailing, some of the consumer staple stock which have a higher proportion of urban revenues, they will continue to do well. Third theme will be return of commodities and cyclicals. While I have traditionally been bearish on commodities and cyclical for last 4 years, and that call has worked exceedingly well, I can see some glimpses of the earnings and a profit pool of commodity and cyclical making a strong comeback, be it metals, be it cement, and be it some of the oil and gas stocks. So that can be a good thing. While I'm not very gung-ho about those stocks, I still have a significant underweight on commodity and cyclicals in my model portfolio, but prices are telling you something else. And last theme, which has been talked about a whole lot in the year 2020 post-government's Atmanirbhar package, is the manufacturing. Now, there are a variety of stocks to play this theme because it encompasses multiple sectors, but this is something which we are seeing in India for the first time. Such a coordinated push for domestic manufacturing has never happened in the last 20-30 years. So even we don't know what all can transpire in the next 5 years. And some of the stocks which are a play on the manufacturing theme, whether it is in chemicals or pharmaceuticals or some of the outsourcing manufacturers, we are already seeing the buoyancy out there, while earnings are yet to come. So these are the 4 or 5 broad themes that I will continue to look forward to: banking, consumption, some of the commodity cyclicals, and manufacturing.
Renewables, Gautam? Borosil Renewables, Adani Green, anything that stands out? And this has been a year of momentum investing, right? And there's some serious momentum in some of these names.
No, Anuj, unfortunately, we don't track those stocks, neither do we have a coverage on those names. I know there are many such names which have done exceedingly well in CY20. Some of those stocks have quadrupled or even given 5x, 6x returns. But we seem to have missed that buzz. We are rather concentrating more on, now that we are entering a new year and earnings season is about to begin, it makes some sense to add some defensives, Anuj, because at 14,000, the news flow is so strong and so positive that nothing seems to be going wrong. And therefore, this is usually the time when you have to, shore up your defenses a little bit. So while we have been having a significant overweight on IT throughout 2020, we are continuing with that. And they will be the first to report earnings. I do expect some upward revision in guidances from the IT companies, especially the Tier 1 pact. So we are quite positive out there. And defensives, specifically in consumer staples, large caps like Lever and Britannia have done nothing in CY20, while they have done exceedingly well over the last 3-5 years. Valuations are now looking little more palatable out there. So therefore, I will continue to stay positive out there.
Okay. Actually, you partly answered my question. I was going to ask you whether in any of all the verticals you mentioned, would you prefer the mid caps? Like, for instance, of course, it's been a great year for the Infosys of the world. But look at something like Tanla Platforms. In fact, Majesco. Okay, a lot of mid-cap IT companies are doing well. I could go on for other sectors as well. But will mid-cap steal the show?
Yeah, Lata. I mean, in mid-caps, it always is bottoms up. You cannot go sector-wise in mid-caps. And just to add to what you just said on IT, we were quite lucky in introducing L&T Infotech in our model portfolio in April at 1,300 or 1,400 rupees. Since then, the stock has tripled and it is no longer a mid-cap. So in every sector, you will find 2-3 mid-caps which have done exceedingly well. For example, in banking and financials, you have seen Chola tripling from the bottom, AU Finance doubling from the bottom, Imami tripling from the bottom. So sector after sector, you have a lot of such stocks where earnings are supportive, management commentary has been good, and some of the excesses that were factored in March, April, they seem to have corrected, and in some cases even overshot on the other side now. So in mid caps, you have to look at the index. If you look at Nifty Mid Cap 100 Index, despite all the rally that we have seen in the last 3 or 4 months, the Nifty Mid Cap and Nifty Small Cap indices are still below their peak of December 17 or January 18 levels. So there is a lot of room to go out there. And typically, whenever we have seen economic recovery broadening with liquidity so ample and interest rates so low, this is a perfect conducive atmosphere for mid caps and small caps to do well. However, investors need to be very cautious while evaluating it because there is always a risk of getting carried away. And one has to temper the optimism going by the experiences of 2007-8, 2013-14, and 2017-18, and therefore remain even more cautious and stocks choosy when it comes to stock selection in mid caps across sectors.
Okay, that's on mid caps and small caps. Gautam, in the pharma space, there are still some stocks that are not trading at exorbitant valuations. I mean, Lupin, for example, the 5-year historic valuations are about 20 to 23 times, and the stock is now trading at 25 times. Do you think there's still more to go in some of these large cap or even mid-sized pharma names? If yes, what would your best bets be?
Of course, I think we have seen 5 years of earnings stagnation and never tired of repeating myself. Our MOSL profit pool for Pharma Universe in 2015 was 20,000 crores. It was 20,000 crores again in 2020. So for 5 years, pharma earnings have gone nowhere. 2021 is the first year of earnings growth. And we are expecting, as per our current estimate, this earnings momentum to continue in FY22 as well. We are expecting 17-18% pharma earnings growth. In fact, forget FY22. The third quarter itself is the third quarter FY21, which will begin next week, is also expected to be very strong. We are projecting a 35 to 40% earnings growth for our pharma universe this quarter. Now, what has happened is that some of the stocks within the pharma universe have preempted that earnings momentum and have rallied ahead of the earnings. Still, there is enough room, as you rightly said, the valuations are still not exorbitant out here, and they shouldn't be because their ROEs are much lower than the consumer companies. Their free cash flow conversion is also much lower, and there is always a volatility on earnings given what the regulator does. Having said that, what we like in the space is DVs. We continue to have Sun and Lupin in our model portfolio, and as far as mid-caps go, we have Ipca in our model portfolio. Aside of that, we also like something like an Ajanta Pharma, something like a Granules, which has done extremely well. So pharma, I am quite excited as far as the earnings are concerned for the next 2 years. Things seems to have rather turned around quite well in FY21, and they are expected to do quite well even in FY22.
Okay, Gautam, what about some of these insurance plays? ICICI Lombard, for example, has been making a bit of a catch-up play. Life insurance has done well for last 6 months. Anything that you're adding in your portfolio?
Anuj, as far as insurance is concerned, I think this is one of those decadal themes in India where you can buy and forget for many, many years, because this is a structural tailwind that insurance sector has got post-COVID. And given the fact that the top 3 large cap in life insurance, which is SBI Life, ICICI Pru Life, and HDFC Life, they're all quite strong performers with great execution track record. I would bet on any of them. For the moment, in our model portfolio, we have SBI Life. We do not cover general insurance yet, but we like ICICI Lombard in that space. However, I won't look at insurance from a quarter to quarter or even from a year to year perspective, because I genuinely believe this is one of those few sectors or themes apart from consumption, which allows you to take a 5-10 year view and sit pretty on those names for a long term. So we do like insurance. Right now, we have SBI Life in our model portfolio.
Okay, now let me ask you that big fat question. Is this looking like 2003? I mean, we've not had any growth for a very long time. Where have we seen the last power plant being put up or, bridges being announced? If this is the start of the growth cycle like 2003, then L&T should have a lot of work. Do you buy companies like that?
Lata, it's always, it's always a fact to compare that one big earning cycle that we have got in the last 30 years whenever we see a uptick in earnings, always we go back and see if it resembles 2003 to 8,
Yeah.
when we had a 25% earnings CAGR on Nifty.
Absolutely.
See, some part of current environment resemble 2003, which is the low interest rates and abundant liquidity globally and supportive RBI, stance on growth. What doesn't resemble like 2003 or 8 right now is the global buoyancy is missing on growth. In 2003, if you go back and check the growth rates of economies globally, it was a very different environment. Exports were booming. Right now, our exports have been stagnant for last 7-8 years. So without a strong export, it will be a premature to say that we are resembling 2003 to 8. As far as India is concerned, I do not think we are going to get back that infra cycle of 2003 or 8 in a hurry, because despite improving demand, the capacity utilization across the sectors is still in somewhere around 70s to mid 70s. And this is
No,
not
even
the time
less.
when you see a pickup in capex. Typically, big capex in private sector happens when you see capacity utilization crossing 80%. What we rather have is, and this is typically the nature of every new cycle, every new cycle brings with it new set of circumstances. So we never had manufacturing, we never talked about manufacturing in the earlier cycles. We did not talk about unorganized to organized taking such a big, humongous shape which it is taking today. You can blame COVID for it. You can give credit to GST or other reforms which have happened. But big becoming bigger and unorganized to organized is a very massive theme which can play out for next 5-6 years. So while it doesn't resemble 100% 2003 to 28, but even if we get earnings CAGR of 10 to 15% over the next 5 years, it will do the job, because last 7 years earnings CAGR is 4%.
Okay.
So, it's going to be an interesting time ahead, given that there are multiplicity of themes and factors at play. And there will be enough opportunity to make money, because there are a lot many sectors which are listed today, which were not listed in 2003 to 8. And just to complete that point, lot of the infra stocks which were available in 2007-8 period, none of them are visible today, barring 3 or 4. You have your L&T, ABB, Siemens, and Thermax, but many of those construction plays and companies which had sprouted up in that bull run, they are not existing today.
Take your point on that entirely. Gautam, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, and I have lots more questions, but we are out of time. And speaking about the global environment, we have been doing a series, Outlook 2021, and today we'll be playing a recording I did with Chetan Nahia.